Welcome to the Dan Marcello Media Hour. Today on the show, Mr. Arthur Marcello Jr. is a special guest. Tune in as Dan and Gramps talk about his days in college, the Army, Korea, and being a Yankee fan.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Rhode Island College students of all ages, welcome to the Dan Marcello Media Hour. I'm your host, Dan Marcello. Today we have a very special show lined up. I'll be interviewing one of the greatest, most interesting men on the planet. Yes, that means you. My grandfather, Mr. Arthur Marcello Jr. Let me introduce you to Grampy. Gramps, how you doing today?
I'm just doing great. This is quite a show.
We look good. We're wearing the same colored pants and we look good. We look good. Yeah. Ready for this? Okay. Question 1. So, Gramps, where do you hail from? Where'd you go to high school and college? Any interesting stories or fun facts about those days in high school and college?
I think I should start from the beginning. I was born October 30th, 1929, and a lot of people wonder why I bring that up, because that was the beginning of the Great Depression. And
that didn't happen because you were born, right?
No,
okay.
No.
Just want to make sure.
Actually, the stock market crashed around the beginning, probably around the 27th, 28th of October. So I was brought up in the Depression, and that would be part of my background. So when I graduated from junior high in '44, I went to Pawtucket West, which is now Shea High School, and I graduated from there in 1947. Some of the highlights was I played a couple of years of JV football. Never good enough to make the varsity, but I played.
Story of my life, too.
I can't, right. And in high school, Pawtucket West started a track team in 1946, so I happened to be on the first track team. And we did very well for a beginning track team. We actually made the state finals in 1947, and a few of us, myself included, were finished high enough so that we were able to compete in the New England tournament.
And then you went to college after, right?
And 1947, I started at Providence College and graduated in '51. The interesting thing about college was we had a lot of World War II veterans that came in. And like I was like 17 going on 18, and we had in our class men who were in their 20s who had seen combat service, who were married, some of them had families. In fact, the situation at Providence College was such that they put up Quonset huts. So we did a lot of our classes were in Quonset huts because they didn't have the facilities at that time to take care of all the students.
So what'd you do? So you graduated PC, what'd you do after? What was the life of Gramps after PC?
Okay, I graduated in June of 1951, but in the previous June of 1950, the Korean War broke out. And in fact, we lost one of our classmates, Charlie Moran. He was a Marine in the Second World War, and he was called back into active duty. But when I graduated in '51, I graduated in June. In July of '51, I was in the Army, and I was on my way to Fort Meade, Maryland, where I did my basic training.
Well, you already beat me to it, because I was going to ask you, what year did you go to Korea? But
we haven't got there yet.
Did I spoil the surprise?
No.
All right, just want to make sure.
So I went through basic, and then after basic, I went to Fort Holabird, Maryland, where I was in a holding company, and I learned how to paint there, by the way. 2 things you learn in the service. If it doesn't move, you paint it, and the other thing is if you're not sure, you salute.
That's the way you got to do it.
But then from there, they shipped me to Fort Ben Harrison at the Adjutant General School out in Indianapolis, Indiana, where I spent 6 weeks, and I was trained to be a classification and personnel sergeant. And when I came home from there, I got my orders to go to Korea. And I had a 30-day leave. I came home. In fact, that's when Grammy and I got married on April 19th, 1952.
The most hectic week of your life, right?
Was it ever? Because we weren't going to get married, but her sister was getting married. Yep. So it ended up a double wedding. In 1 week's time, we had to run around getting blood tests, seeing the doctor, doing marriage licenses, the whole 9 yards, the tux and whatever. But it was interesting.
So, what did you do in Korea, and what are some interesting things you may have learned over there, or even later on in life,
Well, in Korea, actually, what happened after we were married, I went to Oakland in California. From there, I shipped to Yokohama in Japan. And from there, we were there 2 weeks, and then there was a whole group of us who went to Sasebo, which was the southern part of Japan, and from there, Busan. Then we made our way up the Korean Peninsula. I ended up the 159th Field Artillery Battalion in the headquarters battery. And my job was classification assignment, responsible for all the enlisted men's personnel jackets. Mm-hmm. In addition to that, each section had to have a driver assigned to the motor pool. And
that was you.
So yours truly was driving a deuce-and-a-half truck around Korea, hauling supplies, personnel, and equipment. Our outfit was fire support for the 1st Marine Division, mm-hmm. and we were up on what they call the Jamestown Line, and that was when the Korean War became stagnant. We were sitting on the 38th parallel at that time. Mm-hmm. That was after they went through the first part of the war, which was a very terrible time for mm-hmm. most of the people who were there. And I was there about 11 months, and my commander of the section called me, and he said, "How would you like to rotate out early?" I said, "Wow, what do I have to do?"
Do I got to tie your shoes or what?
He said, "Well, what they're doing is they're putting a shipload of troops together who came east of the Mississippi River, and we're going to leave Incheon, Korea, and go all the way. We're going to be 32 days on water, and we're going to end up in New York City." Mm-hmm. So I said, "I'll go." And so I rotated out in the mm-hmm. end of May, and then we got on my shipload. And then yep. I think one of the funniest stories
Hold on, before it's a funny story. I was going to let you know, we got to take a commercial break. But after these messages, we'll be back with the one and only Gramps.
I want better roads.
I want my trash picked up twice a week.
I want more land for parks.
I want better community rec centers.
I want to know that the food that I buy is safe.
I want more public service.
I want more recycling.
It breaks his heart seeing foreign cars.
If you don't vote, you don't have a voice.
Register to vote.
There's no excuse. Vote.
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 Vote!
Simplified tattoo on his left arm. Spend a little more in the store for a tag. In the back it says USA. He won't buy nothing that he can't fix. With WD-40 and a Craftsman wrench, he ain't prejudiced. He's just made in America.
This message is brought to you by Rhode Island's Rock the Vote.
And we are back on the Dan Marcello Media Hour. I'm here with Gramps. Before, obviously, we got to get you home from Korea now, but what are some interesting things that you know about the war? And, like, did you learn them there, or did you learn them later on in life? But make sure you get home first. It's the most safe.
Well, I don't know if we have time to go through this, but we left Incheon, Korea in late May, and it took us 32 days to get back to the States. Mm-hmm. We stopped in Hawaii, Honolulu. We went through the Panama Canal, which was fantastic. Yep. I have movies of that. And then San Juan, Puerto Rico. Then when we came into New York City, we were escorted to dock by fire ships, which escorted us right by the Statue of Liberty. And we docked, and then from there we dispersed and mm-hmm. made our way back to wherever we were going.
Back to Rhode Island. Now, since we're on the topic of New York, just quickly, I know in the family it runs to be a Yankees fan. I'm a Red Sox fan. I smartened up, but give me a couple of favorite players or moments from Yankees history, because I know you're the greatest of all time when it comes to this.
Well, I grew up a Joe DiMaggio fan, and people say that's how I became a Yankee fan, because he happened to play for the New York Yankees. If he had played for another team, maybe that's mm-hmm. where it would have been.
The Italians.
In fact, this is the 70th anniversary of his 56-game hitting streak, mm-hmm. and I can remember as a kid listening to him on the radio wherever they played, whether it was in this area or out in the West somewhere, Midwest, listening to the games, and mm-hmm. even actually heard the game where his hitting streak was stopped.
Yep.
Yogi Berra is another favorite player of mine. Yogi was known to hit bad balls, and I remember one game when they were trying to walk him, and back in those days, they didn't step out when they were mm-hmm. on 4 pitches. They would just sort of throw the ball high and whatnot. And they were proceeding to throw the ball high, and he proceeded to hit it out of the ballpark for a home run. And another great story is
This is the best story, just to let you guys know it's the best one.
Whitey Ford tells a story of the last game in Yankee Stadium before they shut the old stadium down. This was a few years ago. And it was a game he was pitching. In the first inning, he threw the first pitch, he hit the first batter. He's got a runner on first, one pitch. Second guy comes up, first pitch, he hits him. Now he has two on, two pitches thrown. Next guy comes up, first pitch, he hits him. Now he has the bases loaded. He's only thrown 3 pitches. The next pitch, guy hits a grand slam home run. Casey Stengel calls time, comes running out. He turns to Yogi Berra, he says, Yogi, what's he throwing? Yogi says, I don't know, I haven't caught anything yet.
Well, Gramps, I want to say thank you for being here, obviously, and thank you for being Grampy. That's all I gotta say, really.
And aboard, Danny.